Imagine a world where an entire town simply exhales and vanishes into the mist. Welcome to today's story. A place where tea was left cold on tables and fires were still warm. But not a single human soul remained to tell the tale. This is the chilling reality of Roanoke, a mystery so deep that for 4 centuries, the earth has refused to give up its dead. The year was 1587. And the air over Roanoke Island was filled with hope. A group of 115 brave men, women, and children from England stepped onto the shores of the New World, ready to build a new life. Among them was John White, their leader, and his daughter, Eleanor Dare. She was pregnant, and soon, she gave birth to Virginia Dare, the very first English child born in America. Her birth was a symbol of their future, a promise that this colony would survive and thrive. But the wilderness was a harsh master, and food soon began to run low. Desperate to save his people, John White was forced to make a heart-wrenching decision. He would sail back to England alone, leaving his family and his new granddaughter behind, to bring back food and supplies. He promised them he would return within a year, but the hand of fate was already moving against them. When he arrived in England, he found the country engulfed in a terrible war with Spain. Every ship was needed for battle, and John White was trapped, unable to return to his family in the New World. For 3 long, agonizing years, he could only watch the ocean and wonder if they were safe. Finally, in 1590, the war ended, and John White set sail once more. His heart raced as his ship approached the familiar shores of Roanoke Island. He imagined seeing his granddaughter, now a toddler, playing in the grass, and his daughter waiting to embrace him. The sun was shining, and the waves were calm, but as the anchor was dropped, a terrifying realization swept over him. The island was enveloped in a silence that screamed louder than any storm. John White finally stepped off his ship and ran towards the settlement, screaming his daughter's name, but only the wind answered him. The houses were there. The palisades were standing. But the people were gone. He ran from door to door, searching for a sign of life, but the village was a ghost town. Everything had been left behind. Chests full of clothes, tools in the fields. Even untouched books lying on the shelves. It was as if a giant hand had reached down from the heavens and plucked every living soul from the soil, leaving only the shell of their existence. There were no bodies, no signs of a struggle, and not a single drop of blood on the grass. It wasn't a slaughter. It was a disappearance. John White searched every inch of the village, and finally, he found a clue. The only clue. Carved deep into a sturdy wooden post at the entrance of the village was a single, cryptic word, CROATOAN. And nearby, on a tree, 3 lonely letters were etched into the bark, CRO. Was it a plea for help? A map to their new home on the neighboring CROATOAN island? Or a final curse whispered before they were claimed by the darkness? He wanted to sail to CROATOAN island, but as he was preparing his ship, a massive storm rose from the Atlantic, threatening to destroy everything. His crew refused to sail, and with a broken heart, John White was forced to return to England, never knowing the fate of his family. He died years later, haunted by the memories of the little girl he had left behind in the silent forest of Roanoke. To this day, the forest keeps its secret. The story of Roanoke is a haunting reminder that we are only guests on this planet, and sometimes, the land decides to take itself back. The trees saw what happened. The wind heard their last cries. But the stones do not speak, and the legends are just whispers on the water. The settlers of Roanoke remain ghosts in the machine of history, forever walking the line between the known and the eternal unknown. We may solve the mysteries of the stars, but some secrets are meant to stay buried in the silent earth.